For those of you who hang out when I stream, it should come as absolutely no surprise that I'm not much of a PvP pirate. Which isn't to say that I don't like PvP, but up until Season 8, I just didn't feel like dedicating my relatively limited game time to chasing ships across the Sea of Thieves who had no interest in fighting, only to have them either not put up nearly enough of a fight to make the chase feel worth it, or, just as likely, they scuttle the second I managed to catch up to them. Not a great time investment, especially when there's just so much else for a pirate to do instead. Thankfully, the addition of the Hourglass of Fate and on-demand PvP completely turned things around for me in that regard. And though I'm still not a particularly good PvPer, that certainly doesn't stop me from trying, even if a lot of my fights end up with me folded like a piece of laundry for my trouble. That's about right. One thing that you can say about the new PvP mode is that it can be unpredictable. And I don't just mean the matchmaking timer being a throne of lies upon which Rare sits and mocks us from on high. Weird tactics and weirder crews, not to mention the absolute craziness of getting thrown into a fight in the midst of a storm or the sudden appearance of third parties, can make every fight a completely unique experience. Assuming you don't get a bunch of runners determined to win by the virtue of having nothing else going on in their lives. However, if there's one thing that I would never have expected to experience during an Hourglass battle in Sea of Thieves, it's friendship? This tale begins after a fairly successful and entertaining day of battling fellow pirates back and forth across the waves with one of my viewers as crew, and with the ship being woefully low on supplies after a several ship deep win streak, we made our way to the steadily growing Port Merrick to restock our sloop and grab ourselves a quick grog while we're at it. Of course, it's always the moment you let your guard down that the sea gods will throw some variety of fresh hell in your direction. So when another sloop very much looking like they were spoiling for a fight came into view, I wasn't so much surprised as simply resigned to the unfavorable situation we found ourselves in. Deciding for myself to seize the moment, I made for a sneaky boarding attempt as they approached while my crewmate did their best to prep the ship with our still limited supplies, only for me to miss entirely. But wait, what? Had they intended to press an attack on our ship, their trajectory should have brought them right to me. Unless... Yep, as you probably guessed, and much to our genuine shock, the ship sailed right past us and docked itself at the Sovereigns as if we weren't even there. Which was, well, deeply confusing, frankly. Here they were, a captained sloop sworn to the servants of the flame with a pair of pirates sporting the Ashen Curse, and at the sight of a Guardian of Fortune, they just ignore us? To go sell loot? No. No, 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 no. This is not the way a disciple of Captain Flameheart behaves. I had to know more.
Oh, dude, this new faction shit, we are so confused what it does, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just said it already, and we're like, what the fuck's going on?
Now it all makes sense. As it turns out, these two had been playing the game for quite a while, but like so many others, they'd taken a break due to the lack of content, especially PvP content. But having heard about the new mode added in Season 8, they'd returned and were attempting to get their sea legs back under them, albeit with a bit of confusion along the way. Of course, this was a very temptingly easy target for some quick allegiance gain, given that they had no idea how the Hourglass of Fate even worked. But I'm just not that guy. So after a brief explanation of the new mode and how to use it, I wished these two luck on the rest of their voyage, finished resupplying, and dove back beneath the waves in search of some actual combat. Two fights of varying success later, we find ourselves bursting from the waves into fog so thick you could bounce a doubloon off of it. Not an ideal battleground. After a futile attempt at first contact via the less than nuanced language of fireworks, and neither of us having the intelligent thought of checking the map, our lack of success pushed me to attempt verbal communication. This fog is some bullshit.
It's you!
god, it's you guys! Oh my pirate lord. It was them. Somehow, against all odds, the fickle gods of the Hourglass had matched us against the very same borderline swabby pirates we'd encountered at Port Merrick. After a few desperate moments of attempting to rein in the battle-stirred blood rage of my crewmate, our new friends and I met aboard their ship for a truly confused parley. And then, it hit us. Can we alliance? Oh my god! At this point, the possibilities started to pop into my head one after another, and I just had to know how far this little affront to everything sacred and piratical might take us. Would we get shared allegiance or reputation, regardless of who sinks? Will this somehow allow the one who sinks first to stay in the server after they lose? Is it going to have any effect at all? Well, after mutually agreeing to start the fight again so that they could get some experience fighting and we could all find out what would happen, our battle concluded quickly, and the answers are in order. No, no, and nope. Not at all. Huh. That's, well, it's a little anticlimactic, really. But let's be honest, isn't this really the ideal outcome? It's a good thing that Rare managed to think this kind of thing through. Otherwise, we'd be dealing with people screaming at you from their ship every time you spawn into an Hourglass fight, trying to convince you to put up an alliance flag to share the rewards, and refusing to fight until you do. And runners are already annoying enough as it is. At least in this situation, the pure sandbox randomness that is Sea of Thieves made an already extremely unlikely scenario that much more hilarious to everyone involved. Even if a funny story was the only real reward in the end. Because that's what this game is all about, really. You never know what kind of crazy shenanigans you'll come across when you set sail, but if you keep a weather eye on the horizon, you can usually be sure that you'll experience something interesting, one way or the other. Now don't forget to dance a little jig with the subscribe button, and all that other YouTube bilge they make you leap through just to know when new things happen. And I'll catch you all next time.